So I want to tell you like a little bit about this story because I'm from this big rich town. You like watch Power? Give them something, Shem. You see the segue? They say this is a big rich town. I just come from the poorest part. Bright light, city light, I gotta make it. This is where it goes down now. I just happen to come up hard. You might take it there then, innit? Sure. Go around again, go around again. Give me my snaps. Not really. On a different planet, what you looking for? Trying to kick the habit like I'm Whoopi Go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're trying to mix the spirit with the physical. You'll end up with the spirit getting physical. This is that UFO, UFO. I hate to get too political. Now, yes, there's a ghost in power, but this is that high priest Levitical. This is that YOLO. No monopoly, ain't no Pasco, ain't no stopping me till I Jando. This is Game of Thrones and I'm Jon Snow. Singing said I just listened to what my grandma been telling me, and she said there's no need to cry. You gotta trust God and watch out for the jungle. And watch out for the jungle. I trust God and watch out for the jungle. I said watch out for the jungle. Yeah, yeah. This is Game of Thrones and I'm Jon Snow. On a different planet, what you trying to show? Keeping up appearances, tears in the bucket, trying to keep it on the. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just trying to hit the sky like I'm Jimmy. I'm just trying to portray Christ like I'm Jimmy. This is just calling for revival. I am just quoting from the Bible. These are the last days, the last phase until the return to retain the title. This is that UFO, you must know. I hate to get too political. Yes, there's a ghost in power, but this is that high priest Levitical. This is that YOLO, no monopoly, ain't no Pasco, ain't no stopping me till I Jando. This is Game of Thrones and I'm Jon Snow. Singing I just listened to what my grandma been telling me. She said there's no need to cry. Trust God and watch out for the jungle. Watch out for the jungle. Say watch out for the jungle. Watch out for the jungle. Yeah, yeah. This is Game of Thrones and I'm Jon Snow. Yeah? I'll be good with that. It hot! It hot! I bought these man t-shirts and I'm here in a jacket. It don't make no sense, you know. Jesus. I heard there's another question out there.
I've got the other question.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
How coincidental? You had the first one, didn't you?
So the next question is, why the name Odd Priest?
I love this. So, first and foremost, Sean alluded to this earlier, and I just knew God was doing something. You really don't name yourself. And when I went back to just looking at the power of a name, people used to name based on character. So, the whole, for those of you who are scripturally articulate, there's the whole Jacob to Israel thing, Jacob being crafty. You know what I mean? Like all the names symbolize something and represented something. I've gone by many names, Tiny. Most of you probably know me as Tiny. Some of you know me as Reisz, etc., 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 etc. And the whole point behind this Odd Priest one was when I was in some prayer, and for those of you who know, I was in a group called AT Thai, and we did pretty well, considering how quickly we were formulated. There was always this thing about names, and I got really, really hung up on it because then I tried to match my identity with the name as opposed to the name speaking of my identity. This became an issue until I spent some time with God, and God was explaining to me about, there's Elijah. There's always an Elijah before the coming. There's always somebody who points in the right direction, who signposts the coming of the Lord. And they always have these mad wilderness experiences, spending time in the wilderness, just looking like madmen, can't wear no clothes, good, eating all bugs off the land and all kind of thing like that. And they were almost classed as outcasts. But what we're not understanding is that actually the divine line was continued through these people. So you had those who were in priesthood by the order of the Levites, but then you had those who were divinely priests by the order of Melchizedek. So God just showed me the correlation between Elijah and John the Baptist and how they were just mad, like roadmen. They were just rugged, rough, doing what they were doing, but the priesthood was continued through them, but they weren't recognized as such. And so the whole thing about Odd Priest is, funnily enough, I am not Odd Priest. This is Odd Priest. This whole thing is Odd Priest. We're called to be royal, anointed, and peculiar. Yeah? So, obviously, it's a bit quirky calling it Odd Priest, but the whole thing is about remembering that my first ministry is the priesthood of my household. And I'm just, when I speak about being Odd Priest, it's a movement, and that actually I want to encourage everybody to remember that that's their first ministry, priesthood of your household. Yeah, and then we're called to evangelize. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So it's about embracing the peculiarness of being the priest that God's called me to be. Yeah? Everybody okay with that answer, or need some more? You're good? All right then, cool. Thank you, Denzel. Oh, God almighty. I needed that, I sweat. Christ. And it's just fitting, Sean, that you were talking about searching. So I think this next one is yours, bro. This next one is yours.